Hey guys, welcome back to Hockey Hub. Today we'll talk about the worst NHL teams of all time. Let's get into it. Number 10, Ottawa Senators.
Today's an exciting day for the Ottawa Senators in naming DJ Smith as their 14th head coach.
The Ottawa Senators tied the Quebec Nordiques 5-5 in their opening game, and it was all downhill from there. The Senators finished with 37 points, a full 64 points behind the division-winning Pittsburgh Penguins, and they finished last in every single major offensive category. But fear not, the future looked bright to the helpless Senators because they had future stars Alexei Yashin and Alexandre Dahl. Number 9, San Jose Sharks. The San Jose Sharks came into being during the 1991-1992 season, but it was the following year that every one of their fans would like to forget. The Sharks set the NHL record by losing 71 games that year, including 17 in a row at one point, and they allowed the most goals of any team in the league. Arturs Irbe was San Jose's leading goaltender, posting a record of 7 of 26 and a GAA of 4.11. Number 8, New York Islanders. All you need to know about the Islanders is that they were outscored 347 to 170, earning them 30 points on the year, which was 1/4 of what the Montreal Canadiens finished that year. In addition to winning only 12 games on that year, the franchise also had to pay $4 million territorial fee to the New York Rangers, because the Rangers are a pain in the ass. Fear not though, Islanders fans, because the next year, the Isles would hire Al Arbor and double their point total. They also won 4 straight Stanley Cups between 1979 and 1983. Number 7, New York Rangers. Yeah, it's a little hard to bash any team that played during World War II, considering the situation, but come on, 6 wins? The 1943-1944 squad finished with the worst point total in New York Rangers history, and finished dead last in the league. Their starting goaltender, Ken McCauley, managed to muster a 6.24 goals against average, but even that Herculean effort wasn't enough to help the hapless Rangers. Number 6, Quebec Nordiques. The 1989-19 Nordiques season got off to a good start, with the franchise selecting Matt Sundin with the first overall pick. Not only that, but they also signed the recently unretired Guy Lafleur from the New York Rangers to build some fan interest. Unfortunately for them, they actually had to play some games after that. While Joe Sakic managed to top 100 points for the club, the problems were many and the solutions were few. For example, goaltender Ron Tugnet led the team in wins with 5. Quebec continued limping along and certainly closed the season with style. It managed to win only 1 out of its 17 last games. Number 5, Winnipeg Jets.
The Winnipeg Jets come from 4-0 down in the second period to win it here in New Jersey.
The Winnipeg Jets had a record of 957-14. Hey, at least they tied in some games, right? The Jets had just transitioned from the World Hockey Association to the NHL, and the transition was not smooth. They had actually won WHA championships prior to this season. I mean, this might be why we don't see a KHL versus NHL series. They lost or tied 30 in a row. They couldn't buy a win for 30 games. They're the opposite of the Yukon women. Literally, that's the record nowadays for most games without a win. So much for Winnipeg. Although, unlike a few teams on this list, they got immediately better, posting 30 wins in their next season. Number 4, Kansas City Scouts. This losing season actually cost the city their team. The Scouts entered the league at the same time as the Washington Capitals. As we'll see later, neither of them were good, and it may have tainted Kansas City's chances of getting another team back. In the Scouts' first season, they posted 15 wins. Still not great, but hey, for a first-year expansion team in the old NHL, it's not bad. But their season preceding was. The Scouts posted a record of 12-56-12. You can tell why they moved. The Scouts eventually became the New Jersey Devils after a brief stint in Colorado. The Scouts came in last in a division where the best team had 32 wins. They concluded their season winning 1 game out of their last 44. At least Avalanche are 2-8 near the end of their season. Number 3, San Jose Sharks. The 1992-1993 season was a race to the bottom. Because of their win total, the Sharks are the better, at least in my opinion, of the 2 teams involved. Sorry, I'm being vague. The other team is next. The Sharks posted a record of 11-71-2. The other team was worse than that, and it's not like the Sharks were unused to being bad. In their first season, the Sharks posted a record of 17-58-5, but the following season was something special, if you define something special as something bad. It's very reminiscent of the Kansas City Scouts. Luckily though, San Jose got to keep their team. The Sharks also straight out lost 17 games in a row. The Sharks allowed 414 goals in 84 games. Only the next team, and the now defunct Hartford Whalers, came close. Number 2, Ottawa Senators. I told you this was a race to the bottom. The race was tied. The Senators finished the season with a 10-74 season. Both of them and the Sharks finished with 24 points. But because the Sharks managed to somehow win more games, with more goals allowed, they won the tiebreaker. The Senators allowed 395 goals. I told you they came close. The Senators had the least number of goals for, too, with just 202. Maybe that's how they lost the opposite of arms race. The Senators' strategy became to just lose. 2 years later, in a lockout-shortened season, the Senators finished with a 934-5 record. They also drafted biggest NHL bust in Alexander Dale. The Senators wound up with last overall for 4 straight seasons. They also eventually drafted all-time great Marian Hossa. Looks like every team gets a new start eventually. Number 1. Washington Capitals. Nowadays, the Washington Capitals have second-round struggles. When they were first founded, the Capitals had just plain struggles. They finished their inaugural season with an 867-5 record. That includes the all-time mark for fewest points in an NHL season with 21. It also includes a negative 265 goal differential. Hey, Colorado fans, you're not this bad. And that's something to be glad about. The Capitals scored 181 goals. For reference, the Scouts, another team on this list, scored 184. The Capitals also allowed 446. Nobody else allowed more than 341, with the Minnesota North Stars with the second most. And it's not like the Capitals immediately improved. The following season, the Capitals had an 11-59-10 record, which could very well be on this list as well. 2 of the worst teams in history. Okay then, at least they eventually drafted Alexander Ovechkin. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.